Welcome to This Week in Baseball with Loro, Antonio, and Ben Curse. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the opening week games of the Dodgers and the Red Sox, and we also have other games to be talking about. We had a lot of crazy opening week games when we have to talk about the Blue Jays and also the Blue Jays and Rangers game as well. And also we want to talk about some brawls in this game as well, and along with what happened in the Giants and Padres matchup. I'm with Ben Curse, and Ben, how are you doing tonight?
Doing good, Laura. How are you doing?
Doing great. Let's start with opening weekend. So let's start with you, Ben, and let's talk about your Boston Red Sox playing the New York Yankees, as the New York Yankees nearly swept you guys, but the Red Sox won one game in that series against the Yankees this past weekend.
Yeah, I kind of described it a little bit on the Batter Up show, which, by the way, for anybody that's joining, make sure to tune that in. We've been killing it according to our, views lately from our co-host Isaiah Leon, who we like to thank for that. But that's going well, so make sure to tune in on that every Sunday night, and so that should be fun next week. But yeah, I talked a little bit on Batter Up last show about the Red Sox and their first weekend with the Yankees, and it's the first weekend out of 162. I believe it's back to 162. There's going to be some things happening, and the first game the Red Sox had a 3-0 lead. Rizzo tied in the first half of the bottom half of the first inning, and then it was kind of back and forth. The runner on second came into effect in the bottom of the, I think, 10th, and Donaldson walked it off. In the Saturday game, the Yankees were down 2-0 for Dugan Homer. Sorry about that. And then Rizzo came back, tied it up, and then Stanton had a 2-run homer, I believe, and that was that. Pivetta pitched. I thought he was okay. He had a couple blunders. And then in the Sunday night game was the only game that the Red Sox won. Tanner Houck was a little bit shaky in a couple innings, but the bullpen was absolutely masterful. And the Red Sox held on to, I believe, a 4-3 win there. And then the Red Sox went on to Detroit to play their next series. And I know that you only asked me about the first series, but might as well just talk about the only two series that we've had. And the first game kind of felt like the past three games of the Yankee series. Not a lot of offense with a lineup that should be very good. I know Trevor Story's been kind of out for the last couple of games due to a stomach bug, which we kind of found out about, but he came back today. In the lineup, which is good to see. He produced a couple hits too, which is really good. Because I know that he's kind of had a tough start, but that's kind of how things kind of go when you kind of come into a new team. So the Red Sox lost 3-1. Javi Baez had an absolute moonshot in the bottom eighth, but it really was all you could blame the pitcher, Brazier all you want. The offense was just absolutely anemic. Besides the JD Martinez home run. And then the Tigers were up, I think, 3-0, 4-0 or something. And Tuesday's game, I was listening to a bunch of it at work, came back from work. Red Sox decided to have some offense for once, and, at least for the last couple games. And bats definitely got going. Kike had a couple hits. Kike, by the way, after a very, very tough start, worked on some things with the hitting coach the last couple days here to kind of get the thing rolling here as a leadoff hitter. And, he's had some pretty good results the last couple of days here, which is good to see. Kike an opposite double, field double for a hit. And then JD Martinez had a hit. JD's looked pretty good overall, I'd say, in the blocks. He's had some strikeouts here and there, but he's definitely gotten based in a couple games here, which is good. And the Red Sox have gotten some long balls here too. So that's great to see. Red Sox came out with a 5-3 win on Tuesday. That was our second win of the season. And so that was that. And Garrett Whitlock, who we paid a huge amount of money to a contract extension, love Whitlock, and he is by far the best reliever that the Red Sox have, I think, without a doubt. And so 2-3, and then coming into today's game, the Red Sox had another
And what you're
afternoon
saying is
game.
that the Red Sox lost 2 of 3 to the Yankees, but took 2 out of 3 from the Detroit Tigers.
Well, yeah, and theoretically, Loro, the Red Sox could be in a lot worse of a position than they are going into the homestand, which for those that are not known about at this point in time, I think I made it pretty clear, but I'm excited to announce that I will be there coming up. Now, at least for me, it's going to be tomorrow because it's past midnight here on the East Coast. So I'll be officially at Fenway Park tomorrow. Crazy enough, that just brings a huge smile to my face, and I can't wait.
So you're basically leaving Connecticut tomorrow to drive to Boston?
I'm actually taking the train in the morning. I'm taking it's about a 3 hour train ride, and you're going to be there. Leaving at 8 o'clock in the morning, game to 2, and then I'm going to check into my hotel in Boston right before I go to the stadium. So
who are you going with to this game?
I'm actually going with my twin brother. So my twin brother is home, and me and him are going up together, and we're going to enjoy the game. And maybe after the game, we'll see. Go to the bar or something. And
yeah. Boston's crazy right now because it's Boston Celtics playoffs.
Yep, and the marathon weekend and Jackie Robinson Day. It should and the weather's supposed to be tomorrow, extremely nice, which is something that I'm pretty happy about because we paid a decent amount of money for this trip, but it's going to be definitely well run. Never been the home opener before. Obviously, we were planning on going on a home opener this year, but it just turned out with the lock-in and stuff. We got very lucky, and definitely should be a very, very exciting and fun day tomorrow. But besides that, let's talk about obviously the game before that's going to happen tomorrow because the Red Sox are having an off day as of today. Yesterday,
off day tomorrow for the Red Sox. And tell us who is pitching when you're going on Friday. Who is the starting pitcher for the Red Sox on Friday?
So right now the starter is going to be Nick Pivetta.
Would you prefer Nathan Eovaldi though?
I would have preferred Nasty Nate, but I knew that actually the Red Sox were playing the Tigers in the 3-game series to kick off, and the Tigers were forecasted of some pretty bad rain, and so possibly thinking that if that game got canceled, then Eovaldi would have got pushed back to the game tomorrow. But the Red Sox, when I was listening to them at work, didn't seem like there was any delays, anything happening. And so it's 2-1. The Red Sox had a little bit of a lead. Eduardo Rodriguez was doing his thing in the first couple of innings, and then the Red Sox got a break. It was 2 outs, and Candelario, the third baseman, threw an error, and then the Red Sox had the floodgates open. Today was a game that really the offense was a big reason why, and the bullpen I'll get to in a bit after because man, they obviously fell apart in the last several innings to make it a lot closer than it should have been. But the Red Sox ended up getting to, I believe, a 6-2, 7-2. Kike Hernandez had his first time around the season today. Jackie Bradley Jr. had a couple hits, which is cool to see because Jackie, I'm not going to be too high on his hitting this year, but good to get some hits down the bottom 9 order. Alex Verdugo had a couple hits. I think he had 2. I know Duga had 1 in the 9th inning. Bobby Dahlbeck had a couple hits. So a couple guys that kind of had a hard time in New York, at least the first series, even though it's the first series and players going to have the adjustments. A lot of guys multi-hit games. And the last couple of days here, it's been the Red Sox offense that I know after the first couple of days where they just haven't really gotten themselves together. Kike looked great. JD Martinez had several walks today. Today, Nathan Eovaldi went out and, wasn't his best outing, but he did his thing. 5 innings, I think 5 or 6 strikeouts, 1 and 2 walks. He did go 2 home runs, but they only solo shots, so I'll take that. And so it was 9-2. You're thinking, I was watching the game. It was the 6th inning, 7th inning. You're like, oh, feeling decent. The bullpens look pretty good the last couple days here. Don't want to jinx anything. Don't want to risk anything. Then it got to 9-4. Spencer Torkelson, the Tigers prospect, did a 2-run homer in the 7th inning and things. So I'm like, okay, it's a 5-run lead. Got to make sure he's, protected and be okay and stuff like that. And then the 8th inning comes around. And the Tigers' first 3 batters here on this, Loro, it was a walk, hit. So it's getting very, very dicey. Things definitely just got from essentially a blowout to, wow, this got crazy interesting. Then Jake Diekman, who came into the game for the Red Sox, the lefty southpaw, and he struck out the next 2 guys. So you're thinking to yourself, oh, it's 9-5. If he gets this guy out here, then the Red Sox should be okay and, have a 4-run lead, and as much as it could be a lot worse. You don't have to hit a grand slam or something outside that to tie it. Well, the Red Sox, Diekman, he decided to give up a hit, so it was 9-6. So it got really interesting, and then it got to 9-7 on a full count to Meadows. So then you're thinking to yourself, now the tying run is in second and third after a 9-2 lead. Jonathan Scopes at the plate, who's hit the ball really the last 2 times up, and Hanser Robles comes in and saves it out, pops it out, but it's only 9-7, and he had to obviously get the next 3 outs. But the 9th comes around, fly out, strike out. So the Red Sox hold on. They survive. I'll take it as it was. It wasn't pretty because it looked like it was a really good game. I was so happy it was. I'll take it. They're 3-3 going into home opener on the Twins, but obviously a long way to go.
Yeah, and anyway, speaking of the Twins, my Dodgers got to play them, and I'll tell you what happened today. Any thoughts? Clayton Kershaw nearly pitched a perfect game here. I mean, he was on fire. I think my Dodgers, their offense was starting to pick up in that series against Colorado. I was not too pleased with the Dodgers in their series against the Rockies.
Yeah, Clayton Kershaw, I've obviously didn't watch a lot of this game, but saw some of the highlights. He showed a lot of what he can do when he's not injured, and that's be dominant Clayton Kershaw. This was at like a 75, I feel like 85%. And this is not just a slouch lineup. This is a really good Twins lineup. I think Correa was not in there today.
He was not in there today. It was
but they still have a very good lineup.
I could see. I mean, look, the Twins. When my Dodgers played them, and what you're going to see when you see the Twins this weekend when you go up to Fenway, the Minnesota Twins, they have a good lineup, but I just think they need they need bullpen help, they need starter help. I think that the Twins lineup is not the issue.
No, so it's a lot of teams that you see just they're pitching, right? You look at the Angels. Angels are a clear example. They just need the pitching help because you can get the offense so far, but if you don't have pitching, it's not going to matter come postseason. That's what the Red Sox. They always seem to have a hard time with the last couple of years. It's either the pitching's so good and the offense is just kind of there, or it's the pitching's not too good and the offense is great, but there's never really kind of a balance. But you got to saw last year in the postseason that the offense was so good that the pitching had to kind of be average. But it got to a point in time where the offense just stopped hitting. The pitching almost had to be perfect for any type of hope to beat the Astros in the second half of their series, and it just didn't meant to be, but it was still a fun ride.
Yeah, if you talk about the Twins, Tuesday's game when the Dodgers played in Minnesota, pitchers duel Andrew Heaney made his major league debut, his Dodger debut, I meant. He wasn't bad in his first start, but
yeah, no, I heard some good things about it, and that's a little surprising because
he should have gone 5 innings though. But I don't view, in my opinion, since I have MLB the show, I don't view Andrew Heaney as a starter because of how awful he is as a starter.
Yeah, no, he's like a middle relief, short-term
long relief, spot starter, but but he's not a guy that I can trust going 5 or 6. I trust him going 5, but not 6 or 7.
Exactly. Yep.
That's how Andrew Heaney is, but he wasn't bad at all in his first start, but I was hoping that he would have completed 5.
I agree.
But I think that, and then some plays I saw here in that Dodgers Twins series, Byron Buxton and what he can do if he is healthy. And he took away some extra base hits from Cody Bellinger, Max Muncy, and Byron Buxton. You know that if he's healthy, the Twins are a better baseball team with Byron Buxton.
Oh, 100%. I mean, Buxton is, I think, going to be up in the AL MVP voting this year if he stays healthy. Great glove, a great bat, just a full-on great caliber player. I'm not saying he's going to get a lot of votes for AL MVP, but I think that there will be some considerations just because I just think he has the whole full-on package for that team.
And then Miguel Cino, who I saw, he's kind of off to a slow start. He's not.
Yep.
He needs to pick it up. That's what I noticed here. Carlos Correa is good. Gary Sanchez. I mean, the guy can hit, but do I want him at catcher? No.
No.
That's why the Twins should have 3 catchers on their roster, because Gary Sanchez shouldn't even be catching anymore now that he's a Twin. He should be DHing and focus on being a hitter than a catcher.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've seen Gary Sanchez for as long as I've known now, because he was just with the Yankees constantly. And still just getting myself used to not seeing him with the Yankees right now. Just seeing him with the Twins.
Yeah, it was him and Gio Urshela, now members of the Minnesota Twins.
Yep. So,
but pitching-wise, if you look at their pitching staff, Chris Archer was the only one that really pitched well in the Dodgers-Twins series. But the Dodgers, however, got to Chris Paddock.
Yeah, no, I think the Twins have a lot of kind of serviceable starters, but I personally think that they still need a lot of help in that rotation.
Yeah, the lineup, I think, is going to help them keep them in the race for the AL Central. But 100%. as far as when it was the opening series of the Dodgers and Rockies, Game 1, Walker Buehler was phenomenal in his first career opening day start. The Dodgers started out trailing. The Dodgers got hot at the right time. And talk about Craig Kimbrell coming in, getting his first save. And to me, as much as I miss Kenley Jansen, I don't mind Craig Kimbrell. I think Craig Kimbrell is not that bad of a closer. I think he is better at being a closer than he is as an 8th inning man.
Yeah, I mean, he'll definitely have his bad outings, though. I mean, myself from the Red Sox days, when he's on, he's great, and when he's off, he's really off. So, I mean, just have to kind of see that fine line with him, and just kind of see how far it can take you.
And then talk about Julio Urias in Game 3 of the Dodgers-Rocky series. That was not really his day, though.
No, I mean, I didn't see really much of Urias, but it didn't seem like he had his great stuff. But I do think personally he's still going to be fine. He is definitely a really good pitcher when he is on, and I personally do think that things are going to be okay with him.
Yeah, I think things will be okay too. I thought Saturday's game, Gonsolin wasn't at his greatest though, but Connor Joe hitting a go-ahead home run off of Blake Trinan though. I was kind of thinking the Dodgers would come right back and win this game, but Colorado is having fun right now, like you said. I don't think the Rockies are going to be that bad, but the way that they started the season is kind of a bit surprising.
For sure.
Because the Rockies right now, they're not supposed to start out that way. They're 4-1 right now, but is that going to last? No. I think they're going to fade.
Yeah, I mean, you saw a lot of teams last year in like early April that are just, it's like the NFL season, like the early on part, you're like, yeah, you get to really kind of see who the pretenders are, and just, I don't know. It's not going to last.
And then the Diamondbacks, you knew how bad they're going to be. They're 2-4, which is not a surprise, but you said something like you liked Torey Lovullo when he was a member of the Red Sox coaching staff under John Farrell, and I'm kind of thinking he and Mike Hazen are probably going to be on the hot seat for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I mean, it really kind of depends in terms of how they do this year and how they perform. That's obviously the biggest thing with Lovullo is making sure that they're on the right page, and they're still in rebuilding form. Ketel Marte is a very good piece there, who signed an extension. Madison Bumgarner actually pitched okay the other day, but who knows how long he's going to be lasting for there. So, but hey, they beat the Astros today 3-2. I mean, they held a pretty good Astros lineup actually the last couple of days. The Astros only scored a total of 5 runs. I think 5 runs the whole entire series. So the Astros offense has been kind of off to a slow start, despite the they went off. Let's just say that. Sorry, it's getting late for me. I'm just trying to figure out. They went off like Saturday night or something. The Astros did, but they haven't really gone off to like their full-on Astros self, which they will at some point. which is a scary sight for a lot of the AL. But the Diamondbacks, I think, are definitely going to be right in the bottom. The Colorado Rockies are going to be down there right in the bottom because they just can't sustain anything with their youth.
No, they can't. And then let's talk about tomorrow about my Dodgers. So the Dodgers have their home opener tomorrow against the Cincinnati Reds. And the Reds are 2-4 in the season. And I'll tell you, the Reds, you said the Reds are now in a tank. They're in tank mode.
They are. I think personally that Tyler Mahle or Luis Castillo would be perfect for the Red Sox. And that's just on myself not to say it. I just personally think they'd be really good fits. Mahle, I think, would be a little bit more cheaper in between the two. But the Reds really, I mean, Joey Votto is definitely going to give them ticket sales, like I've said in the past few. But, you move on from a lot of big-time pieces there, right? You move on from Amir Garrett, who's a really good piece in their bullpen. You move on from Jesse Winker, who, of course, just absolutely just going off there. And the leadoff hole, I think. Suarez kind of was disappointing, over the last couple of years, but he was a really good piece there, fun player there at third base. So, yeah, I mean, just – and then Castellanos is, of course, another big one, too. Just a huge bat. It's a couple of huge bats between Winker, Castellanos, and a couple others. Just there's not really much there, and the pitching definitely lost itself too.
Tomorrow, Walker Buehler starts the home opener for the Dodgers, and going up against him tomorrow for the Reds is you know him pretty well from the Yankees. Luis Sessa is going to take the mound tomorrow.
I didn't know that he starts, so that's news to me.
And then Tony Gonsolin on Jackie Robinson Day, he'll go up against Vladimir Gutierrez. On Saturday, Julio Urias will go up against Hunter Green, who is
the young prospect. Yep.
And then Sunday, on Easter Sunday, it will be Tyler Mahle and Andrew Heaney. And Tyler Mahle, who I think the Dodgers could have traded, it would have been. I think that Mahle and Castillo, like you said, they're the only bright spots, as you could say, on the Cincinnati Reds rotation.
For sure. I mean, those are the two names that you kind of just stick out, right?
I think the player to watch is Jonathan India. I think he's going to have another great year.
Great player. Yeah, he has a lot of good things. He hits mostly for average, I'd say, over just the long ball, but he could hit out of the park here and there. He'll average, 15, 25 a year, for a young kid, for a smaller type of guy, but has a lot of bat speed. He's a really good runner, though. He's a lot of athleticism. So, that's a great piece of the Reds and gives them something to be excited for.
Anyways, let's talk about some teams that are off to a great start. Let's talk about the New York Mets for a little bit. I mean, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, the Mets gone their way back." They've had some unfortunate injuries with like Jacob deGrom, but I told you, if you still have Max Scherzer or Chris Bassett or Taijuan Walker or Carlos Carrasco in that rotation for the Mets, they're going to be fine. And look what happened. And I think credit to Buck Showalter for providing this leadership for the Mets right now. And I think that the Mets are playing great baseball right now. I mean, even though that they lost to the Nationals and Phillies, I mean, those are their only two losses. But other than that, they've been playing really good.
Yeah, no, the Mets have been playing really hard. They kind of had the same kind of feel last year. They started great, and then things kind of went into sideways. They went sideways for sure. But the Mets really have to just stay healthy, right? Their first at least time through the rotation, whether it was Scherzer, who's been honestly out of all the guys, he's been good. But you look at the other guys. I mean, Tyler McGill has been the best, most effective guy so far.
Everybody said, "Who is he?" Tyler McGill. That's kind of the question there.
Yeah.
And then talk about the Phillies going 3-3. They took 2 out of 3 from Isaiah Zays, but kind of had trouble with the Mets here. But the Braves, everybody's overreacting about the Braves starting 3-4. But this NL East is very, very competitive.
It is, right? You have the defending champs in the Braves. You have the Mets, who went on paper they can stay healthy. They're be a very good club. The Marlins, of course, are still rebuilding away. They got some good young pitching prospects. A couple of the prospects there, so they got a little bit of time, but we'll see how things are throughout the whole season with that division.
And then let's talk about a little bit about the one of the top games of opening week, the Blue Jays and the Rangers. We saw some very good baseball, but talk about opening day in particular. I mean, Jose Barrios did not pitch the greatest, but talk about the Blue Jays coming from behind and Teoscar Hernandez being Teoscar Hernandez and then Vladdy Jr. being Vladdy Jr.
Yeah, this Blue Jays lineup, they have no weaknesses really in their lineup, top to bottom. I know Teoscar Hernandez got hurt today, so that would be interesting to kind of see his injury because he's a very good underrated steady bat and a very good offensive powerhouse lineup. Whether it's Bichette, I know they lost Simeon last year, but Simeon was really good with them. Obviously, that Vladdy is just an absolute unreal player. He had he obviously had a fun game tonight. It's 3 home runs and a double down the line. And this is a lot of good pitches that Cole threw and other guys. And I know that's a little off to another side topic, but yeah, just their lineup could just do so many good things other ways. Their pitching's been a little suspect though, and that's why the Rangers actually made the game. In one of their games this weekend, but things obviously they obviously can change throughout the season. And personally, think for at least for the Blue Jays is they stay healthy. This team could definitely give teams a lot of problems.
Yeah, talk about this. I mean, if you don't like Buck Martinez doing play-by-play for Blue Jays games, talk about his home run call being one of the most annoying home run calls in this call right here. You better listen to this, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that most annoying home run call there by Buck Martinez?
He definitely puts a lot in pronunciation. He tries to do what he can with it, but I don't know. I just
I mean,
if you're gonna hit a home run,
I just prefer Dan Shillman doing Blue Jay games I prefer Dan Shillman as the primary guy, Buck Martinez as the color analyst.
I agree 100%.
Because Dan Shillman's better. I think he knows what he's doing. And anyways, talk about the fight between the Giants first base coach Richardson with acting third base coach of the Padres, Mike Shildt. What was your thoughts on that fight that they had?
Yeah, I didn't really watch most of it, but Mets and Phillies always go at it, and they obviously the Phillies obviously didn't like what was going on, and fighting definitely shouldn't be going on in baseball, but
or what about when
keeps it entertaining.
Lindor got hit in the head, and then Buck Showalter was upset. He was yelling at the top of his lungs.
Yeah, I mean, Buck wanted no part of that situation. He came in and stood his ground and was able to keep the players back and make sure that no other type of whether it's suspension or a fine, anything happened with his players, and make sure everything was gonna be okay.
Yeah, I think that. And then what about the Cubs and Brewers brawl?
McCutchen got hit. He decided to make sure things were under control, and Cubs were obviously up by a lot in that past weekend series. So it's huge to try to get some momentum in any type of way, but you want to make sure that you obviously don't fall into the trap of we're trying to get under your skin. Cubs on the other hand just want to make sure that things are going to be still in their favor.
Yeah, and I think if you look at the Cubs, I think the Cubs are probably not going to be that great this year, as you all know. But also talk about memorable homecoming to remember. So, what about Albert Pujols is homecoming with St. Louis and Zach Greinke back with Kansas City?
Yeah, Pujols that just feels right. When it comes to baseball, Pujols back in his own place. It just feels right, and I really think that there's going to be one of many. He just has to play in the lineup a lot, and definitely going to start watching some more of those Cardinals games to kind of see, how his milestone records are. Because at this point in time, Laura, this is his last year, so he's out there trying to see if he can run a reign and also try to break some records along with it to enjoy his last final season to cap off a legendary Hall of Fame resume.
Yeah, the Cardinals, they're off to a pretty good start here. So, Ben, what are your final thoughts before we call it a night here?
Yeah, and I do appreciate you. I know that we only gone through like half an hour, but for me, it's almost 1 a.m. And I know for Batter Up, we'll definitely get more into the other stuff. So I do appreciate it. My final thoughts are just thank you for having me. I know it's a little bit later night, and I'd like to thank you, even though it was a little bit of a shorter episode tonight. And enjoy the baseball the rest of this week. Looking forward to, like I said, Fenway on Friday and getting back to a place I love so much and just all the memories and stuff like that. And home opener definitely should have a different feel too. Just capping off a really good weekend, hopefully in Boston. And, they have the new areas, the seating in right field. So that definitely should be really interesting to kind of see some new food that they're going to be serving out there. So it should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. And, hopefully everything will be, well worth type of trip, and hopefully the Red Sox keep doing what they've been doing the last couple of days here to bring a win on them there, and also to hopefully have a good homestand. They face the Twins, then also face the Blue Jays. So it's going to be a lot of good hitting lineups that they're going to be facing back at home, and then but before they go back on the road. So things are going to hopefully looking upward for the Celtics. I was going to say for the Celtics. Hopefully the Celtics have a good playoffs against Brooklyn. But really for the Red Sox, hopefully things will go well early on this homestand, and hopefully things trend in terms of the direction. So thank you for everything, Loro, and I'm not sure what else you have to say, but
Yeah. So, anyways, next show will be an hour next time. So, Ben, have a good night and get some rest and enjoy Boston, my man.
Appreciate it, man. I definitely will keep you updated and the rest of the group. Looking forward to Batter Up or whatever.
On Easter Sunday.
Easter Sunday for sure. Yep. And looking forward to any type of episodes we might have beforehand. If not, then I'll see you then.